So back to the plan view. Now I will show how to change the cross-section of the road. In the previous tutorial we saw how to define a new road, the layout, the elevation, how to make a bridge. But as you could see, it was a highway with some highway road definition, 3 lanes each side of the road. So what I will explain now is how to change these lanes and the other features of the road on the cross-section. For that, I go back to the plan view and I will create a road which is smaller than the previous highway. I will go near that intersection. You can see a straight road on the satellite picture. Here I will make a road around that. Okay, just a simple straight road. Then I go to the vertical view of that road, double click on the road or right click, edit road. In that view I will not change the elevation this time, but I will show how to change the cross section. On the bottom of the screen you can see a preview of the road, how it will look like in 3D. If you zoom in the view of the top of the screen, it will also zoom in the bottom of the screen. In the top part of the screen you can see there is a blue line here. A blue line means that there is a definition of the cross-section of the road. You always have one blue line at the beginning of the road. You can add some section change in the middle of the road anywhere. So there is a new blue line. If you double click on it, you can change the position of that line. You can change the cross-section that will be used for the road from that position. I will change the definition of the cross-section at the beginning of the road, so double click on that. Then select another section, let's say the default section. OK, rebuild the preview, and you can see that the section changed at the beginning of the road where I defined the other change of the section. The section actually changes at that position. As you can see, the section I selected here is still too big because I want a small street with only one lane each way, so I will actually edit that section from now. I just delete that change because I don't need that. I'll double click again on that blue line, and as you can see I cannot click on edit here. This is because it is a default section. Default sections cannot be changed or edited. So what I will do is duplicate that one and apply my duplicate to this position. Then from here I can edit this new copy. First thing to do is change the name so it has a meaningful name. So I will call that one lane each way. What you have in that screen is a 2D preview of the cross section of what you are editing, a 3D preview of what the road will actually look like. You can manipulate that screen the same way you do with the plan view with yellow bars. Go back to the previous view with that button. So a section is defined with a series of segments. Each segment is defined with a beginning point and end point, so one point here, one point here. All these points can be edited on the right part of the screen. Actually, when you click on the segment, it will select automatically the first point of that segment in the table here. Let's select this one. You can see it jumped to that point. And the second point of that segment will be actually the next point in the table here. So what we want to do first is delete all the rails here and the guard rails here, etc. So I click on that one. As you can see, selected this point. This point is defined as a guardrail. The point before that one is the same, a guardrail. So you have actually two segments here, one going up and then one going down. I will simply delete these 2 points to delete the guardrail. So you click on the delete button. and again. So you can see that the guardrail just disappeared. I will do the same thing on the other side. Make sure I delete the guardrail. Okay, and this one too. I want to delete also all what is in the middle of that road. Let's zoom a little bit. This is clearly not something you will have on a small street, so I delete that part too. It's easy to see where to delete because in the table editor you can see that you have a carriageway here and second one here. So the only thing to do is delete all what is between. So delete everything. Okay. Now we just change that value here to make sure the center of the road is at 0. And the next thing to do is edit the carriageway. So I just have one lane on each carriageway. So when you click on this point in the table where starts the carriageway, you can change the features of the carriageway. The first thing to do is change the number of lanes. I just want one lane. Okay. You could see that on the left there is only one lane left on that carriageway, but it's too wide for a small street, so I will change the width of that carriageway. To do that in a simple manner, you go in the lane details. In the lane detail you see you have 3 items here. We said one lane, so we have lane 1. If you had selected 2 lanes, you would see lane 1 and lane 2. And before each lane and between each lane, after each lane, you have what we call edges or gaps. The gaps and edges are to define the white lines or dash lines alongside the lanes. So the first item is from outside the road, so it will be this part. The lane is a lane, and the other edge will be the edge in the center of the road. So what I want to do is have a white line on the outside. So I select 20 centimeters. I select a white texture. The lane is too wide, so I will select 3.5 meters, and I do not want any white line in the center. It will be a small street with no separation. When you click OK, you have a message telling you that the width of the carriageway, which was defined in the previous screen, is not the same as what you defined in the lane details. So it asks you if you want to change the width of the carriageway according to your new settings. So I will say yes. And as you can see, the width of the lane, etc. here on the section is adjusted to what you entered in the lane detail screen. Now I will repeat the operation on the other side. So one lane, lane details. Outside I want a white line, 3.5 meters, and then nothing in the center. Yes. And now you can see you have a street with just one lane that way, one other lane that way, no separation in the middle, and a white line on each side. The last thing I will change is the side walls. In the default section, it's an asphalt texture. I will change that to another texture with some tiles. This one. It's too big, so I will change the scale of that texture. You can match or map the texture in different manners. I will not change the mode, which is custom squared in that case. I will just change the size. Select 2 meters. So the texture, the image selected here will be mapped on a 2 meter square. I will do the same on the other side. Okay, and 2 meters again. Right, now we have our section which is much more what we want for a small street. So I OK that screen, rebuild, and you can see that I have the road I wanted.